Okay, this is part two. So, this one question was from Determined Trene, and her question was, "What about education, adoption, and black on black love?" So there's a couple of issues in there. Well, as we know, the education system has never really been designed to educate the black man or the black woman for that matter, but you can't say you don't need it because you do need some of it. Without it, you're going to be lost in the society, which is common sense. Well, I wouldn't say society, but you'll be lost in this part of the of the world. You know what I mean? Because you can always go somewhere else, baby, and learn their language just as fast as you learn this one. Now that we're older, it's a little bit easier. You just got to have that willpower, that determination to want to do better, to want to learn different languages, and to be able to get from up under this oppression. But my thing on that, I'm gonna try to stick with the education for right now because we do have the adoption issue that I'm gonna bring up. And once again, this is for Determined Trene. She also posted on our Black Panther page a question regarding those topics. So, as I was speaking on the education, we all know you need it. We all know it's good, but you have to be very careful because none of this education is meant to basically have the black person achieve freedom for his whole people. It's all based on individuality success. And that's what it's fine. You always want to do the best that you can do. We know, we like I say, you gotta have it. You gotta have some of it, but you gotta cipher through some of this shit. You know what I mean? You gotta further your education on just not European culture, not just on American educational system, not just on the American, the fundamentals. You have to be able to get a broad education. That's why America is like ranked what now again? They're probably down to 35 now as far as education go in the world. So it may not be that high, and I'll get the actual numbers for you later. Because always remember, when I talk to you, I'm basically talking to you directly from my head. There's no notes, there's no teleprompter, there's no aid in my ear, there's none of that. This is coming straight from my head. This is coming from what I've discovered, what I've researched, what I've been checking out through credible resources, which what the fuck does that mean in America? Because America has no credibility. So what the fuck is your credible I mean, like really? So, but anyway, we have scholars, we have doctors, and educated, professors and shit in this country. But still, that goes back to this education system. This education system was based on white supremacy. It was based to teach you on how to devalue the black person's life and to keep the white supremacy going on to further empower their people. So common sense tell you they're not going to educate you on things that's going to help you improve your whole race, to give you pride. And once you have that pride, they know it gets you into that mode of wanting to go and help your people because now you're outside the realm of just selfishness of what I've learned. Because learning everything you possibly can to help yourself really is not, what I mean, gonna give you all that good feeling. It's learning that shit and then using it to help someone else that makes you feel really better. And when you see that against your whole, I mean, on your whole people doing that, your whole race, then you're getting the structure, the mentality to be able to uprise against the educational system you have here in America, European. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, people. There are some schools here that you can get down to the nitty gritty. We know that. That's just common sense. But the whole system is designed for very few to have certain knowledge, certain information, certain power to improve the structure of your racist community. And if you think I'm lying, why do we have all these educated people right now with these degrees in the ghetto full of fucking broke people? Drugged, war, shot up. What does that mean? Well, you have a great education system, so it's tricks and trade. It's levels, like I was explaining to you on the last video. You got to get in. It's a matrix, people. It's really a matrix. But if you stay to the truth, if you stay searching real shit, if you stay seeking knowledge and finding out, answers to shit that it's gonna take you to another level. And then you'll start understanding where you are in this matrix at and where you're gonna be heading if you keep going down the road that you're going. So it's very difficult trying to educate any society that's in an oppressive country, and we all know that there's more human rights violation in America right now than, probably in any other country. It's just not as barbaric as you see it, but it is as barbaric as back in, the time when the medieval times. It's technology, people. You got to use your common sense. So back to the education part. Once we start knowing and start, like I said, seeking, the truth by being around people who are conscious and aware of what, real information is, what real knowledge is about. Education is fine. Intellect is a little bit better. You know what I mean? So you can be intelligent without having to get to masters, diplomas, certificates, but you do need that stuff in so many ways in this massive society. So that's where our whole goal is as far as the education system is to break it down and to be able to learn the truth. So we at the Black Panther Parties, we're working on different programs to help our youth be able to learn the truth and advance into another level where we're back on the level of our kings and queens and gods and goddesses, you know what I mean, of that statue, even before, we're going to go back before Egypt because everybody, the Kemet and all this stuff, the Egyptians, blah, blah, fine and dandy. No pride. I don't have any, disrespect to any of the true history because it's facts. It's there. It's not just something, we can't trace back and say, okay, well, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's all there. All the writings is on the wall. You know what I mean? So you got to keep things in perspective of times of how advanced each era was than the last era. So that goes into the education system now. And in America, if you really think about the education trying to further yourself and helping your people, you're liable to be like these historic doctors and get assassinated depending on your life and depending on what you sell out on, depending on what you can buy and how dangerous a mind you have. So, if you want to stay working and doing, following their rules that are killing people by the thousands and millions, daily by misinforming them, by dumbing down your population, then so be that. You know what I mean? But we over here, we're not doing that. We telling the truth. We spitting it out to you raw, raw and regular. We got some of the most intelligent, educated brothers and sisters out here in this nation right now, and we're building, a worldwide coalition of black people to have our own. Because you're never going to get anywhere, first of all, on stolen land. If you're going to stick to the truth, you got to stick to the raw. You got to stick to the real. You can't skip in the middle and then in the end and then now and talking about, oh, we're going to deal with that. You got to be able to summarize all this shit up. What has happened? What got us to this point? Where did we go wrong? So you can't just erase history when you're trying to free yourself in the battle of oppression. You know what I'm saying? But you also have to be able to keep up. It's balance. You have to balance this stuff. And most of all, some of this is not your position. It's not even, you don't even have the information or the knowledge to even dare challenge these crackers that's out here that then got this like almost 400-year head start on you. So let's keep it real. We're going to just start on a level where we have to separate ourselves. We have to be able to have our own educational system. We have to be able to teach our kids the truth about us, where we come from. We have to be able to show them mathematics, all that, science, all that, health, history. Our educational system has to be a little bit phenomenal now because what it is now, we've been set back so bad, we have to get to teaching our kids from scratch. You know what I'm saying? We got to start getting our educators, professionals together and dealing with a curriculum that's basically for us, away from this white supremacist culture of education. So that wraps it up on the education. Now we're gonna get onto the adoption part that Miss Determined Trene wanted to get involved in, touch on a little bit. So now, the adoption part is a little bit tricky too because it goes along the same lines as the racist system. You got to always remember it all boils back down. Everything that you guys want to discuss could be wrapped up under 5 minutes under different branches, under different departments of the white supremacy organizations and their culture and how they continue to thrive undercover. The ones you see out here, these dumbass, hillbillies that don't know really shit, that's the front people. The real problem is the ones who are owning these corporations, the ones who are sitting in these judges' seats, the ones who are sitting in Senate seats, House of Representative seats, these lawyers, these law enforcements, these doctors, you know what I mean? These teachers. The teachers know the shit that they're teaching is wrong, and they still continue to go on with it because they are not being able to make the decisions they want to better their children, the future of our kids, whether it be black, white. But I'm stuck on black right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we come first. Everybody else got their shit. Everybody else has their representatives. Even though we supposed to have some, but we got these coon ass motherfuckers don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? They scared to death because they know that these crackers will kill you. And it's a fact. Whenever a black person gets a leader, which we're gonna have to keep having, but the idea is to make more leaders instead of just having one. You can't assassinate the idea of what we're trying to accomplish here. But yeah, you get a leader, they're gonna kill him. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna discredit him. They're gonna put him down in a place where whatever they say, it doesn't mean anything. But as long as my breath is alive, like I say, you can discredit me all day. You can do what you want to do, but you won't stop this right here until you put me in the ground. And I'm going to continue to stay on the right path because our kids need this education. They need this new form of basically getting back to the truth so we can learn ourselves, so we can learn who we are, the royalty that we are, how educated and intelligent that our history has been, and we are. Not to worship some white culture that doesn't benefit us at all and only benefits white supremacists, the Europeans. So that wraps that up on the education and back to the adoption, which I got kind of fell off on. The adoption part is a little bit similar to the same, like I said, it's under the system. But if you notice that there's a lot of white people who are getting black kids, kids period, for that matter, a lot quicker than there are black people getting kids. For one, it's because a lot of it's levels in that game too. Because you have so many situations that it varies, but it all boils back down to control. Who controls the system of adoption? Who allows the process to go faster for who, and who qualifies for what? So that kind of goes back to the education, what I just broke down to the same system. But each section has its own a function up under the white supremacy's culture, under their blueprint. Because like I keep telling people, man, y'all think y'all ready. You don't even know you don't even know the thought of how far behind you are. We have some black people who are with the function, with us, with other groups that and plus, shit happen. People get scared and they start talking. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you doing wrong. You got somebody finna whoop your ass. Somebody finna whoop up on you real bad. You can talk all that tough shit all you want to. You can play Captain Save a World or whatever you want. But in reality, this is why you have a society full of snitches, traitors, cowards. Because, you know what I'm saying? There's just the way that this system was designed right now under white supremacy to keep the black man down. You know what I'm saying? In adoptions, you're not going to be able to have a fair chance of really adopting, but they're making it easier for blacks to adopt black kids. But like I said, it's all a front as well because you have to have statistics. It's about numbers. You have to be able to have a piece of paper to show that you're not racist. You have to have some statistics to show, okay, we are giving blacks a fair chance. But in America nowadays, you can look at the statistics and show that no, blacks are not adopting blacks like whites are adopting black kids, for that matter, or white kids. For once, it's the financial system. You know what I'm saying? Who's ahead in the financial system to afford to adopt kids, even though a lot of people are adopting kids for that check. But that's not what it's about. It's supposed to be the betterment of those kids. That's what adoption's supposed to be out. It's improving the lives and making sure that these children that you guys are killing, that you guys are ruining with your so-called, adoption process, with your so-called, education, your caring while these people are these children are in transitions to be permanently housed with a loving, caring family. So, and once again, you got to look at who controls the images of all this, who controls the paperwork of all this, who controls the process of all that. So the solutions to all that is, once again, for each and every question y'all bring up to me and want some answers to, the the answer will always be you have to get your own shit. That's the only way you're gonna succeed as a race on this land here. So I had one more. Now the black on black love, because I gotta wrap this up. I'm down to a few seconds. The black on black love. Well, that's also a part of the white supremacy doctrine and all the different branches in there to keep us from loving each other. But they never show you the millions of black people who love black people. They never show you the parties where we go to as black people and we get along, where we don't mistreat each other, where we're not causing all this. They don't show you that because, once again, who owns all the media? White supremacy. So don't be fooled out there, people, that there's no black love. There's a lot of black problems. There's a lot of black on black shit going on, but there's also a lot of white on white shit going on too. So, people, don't get discouraged. We doing what we can do, but we can go any further without you guys' help, because it's power to the people. It's not about power to us, just our entity, just the Black Panther Party or any other black group. Anybody that just tries to just build them and build them and not stand in communication and in touch with the people out there is obviously on some other shit, because it's what you people want. We're here to steer you and show you and guide you on things that you need to know, on decisions that need to be made to better your future. So once again, all power to the people, and I'll get back to you. And that was for Mr. Termin Trene. Y'all have a good one. All power to the people.